Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Gooners and Gloves Podcast channel. This is going to be the 6th Gooners and Gloves podcast, and it's going to be covering sort of just Arsenal's season so far. I'm going to go through each of the games that we've played and sort of what my thoughts have been, how I think we're doing, and how I feel heading into the next set of games starting next week. So this is just something I kind of hope to do maybe like in each international break, just to be able to keep the Arsenal content up, as obviously during the international break there is no Arsenal games. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I want you to let me know down below what your thoughts are on our season so far. How are we feeling? Are we happy with how we've been playing? Is there anything you'd improve? Etc, etc. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see on the screen, I've put up all of Arsenal's games so far this season. So I'm kind of going to just go through each individual one, give you my thoughts on it, you know, how I think we played, how I think we're doing, and just kind of how I feel heading into, you know, the next set of games. So we started off our season on the 17th of August with a win against Wolves, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home, 2-0, and yeah, I was perfectly fine with this game. It was comfortable, you know, it was great. I must say that I don't know how on earth Mosquera didn't get sent off in that game. I remember he basically slammed Havertz's head into the ground, and then he touched Jesus really inappropriately, so I don't know how he didn't get sent off for that, but it didn't matter because we got the 2-0 win, goals from Saka and Havertz, and yeah, I was happy with this performance. You know, we were comfortable, we were composed, we defended really well, Ryan made some solid saves, so I thought it was a pretty good start to the season, a 2-0 win against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But we followed that up with a 2-0 against Aston Villa, and this one was a great win. I was ecstatic with this one. Now, it was a very cagey game throughout. It was very, very close, and until we scored, it was definitely a very back and forth sort of game. You know, Villa missed some really good chances, and we definitely had some decent ones ourselves. But once we finally scored, we finally found the breakthrough. We were able to just regain control. So yeah, it was very satisfying. Of course, Trossard off the bench started us off with a great goal, and that just completely lifted the mood, and from there we got the win. And this was such a huge win for the mentality of the club. I was ecstatic with it because, of course, last season we had lost both games against Aston Villa, and also not even that, but we didn't even score a goal. You know, we lost 1-0 away, we lost 2-0 at home. And yeah, it was a massive win for us to be able to beat Aston Villa, beat Unai Emery, and of course, just kind of get our win back after them doing the double over us last season and, you know, contributing to us not winning the title. So I was ecstatic with that game. As much as it was really close and tight throughout, that was to be expected. I was just very proud of the fact that we kept a clean sheet because many people didn't think we would. So I was really proud of the fact that we managed to keep a clean sheet in this game because, you know, we're still actually the only team this season who has beaten Aston Villa, you know, and that's despite the fact that they faced Bayern Munich as well. So yeah, it just shows that Aston Villa are no joke. You know, they're a brilliant team. They've been fantastic this season, and out of every single game they've played, this is the only one they've lost. So they've been brilliant, and that's why I was really happy for us to win that game. Then we move on to a draw against Brighton and Hove at home. I thought we were doing quite well until the red card. I felt like, you know, we were doing well. We'd obviously opened the scoring, and I was quite pleased Havertz with a goal and a really nice finish. But then, of course, the huge controversy, the Declan Rice red card. I've got to be honest, I didn't personally think it warranted a red card, and I was quite annoyed when it happened. And of course, naturally, through going down to 10 men, we had to be more defensive. We still had good chances, and to be honest, I still feel like we could have won the game just because of the chances we had. Saka and Havertz in particular missed several really good chances. So to be honest, we probably still could have won, but obviously Brighton managed to find the goal through João Pedro, and they walked away with a point from the Emirates, which was obviously a massive result for them. But yeah, a really frustrating day, especially given that I really didn't feel it should have been a red card. But it's one of those things. It happens in football. It is what it is. You know, us Arsenal fans were fuming about it, but we move on. I was still glad that we didn't lose though, because ultimately when you go down to 10 men, like obviously it's not like you're accepting you can't win, but I think once you go down to 10 men, your main aim is kind of to just not lose the game, and I was very pleased that we didn't lose, especially because Brighton aren't a bad team at all. They've been solid this season as well. So yeah, as much as it was frustrating to drop points, especially in a game that we really had a potential to be winning and getting us off to a good start, it is what it is. It happens. We headed into the international break after that, but yeah, a red card that I didn't really feel was warranted, but it happened. We drew the game 1-1. Glad we didn't lose, but if I'm completely honest, with the chances we had even when we had 10 men, we probably still should have won, but we moved on from that. Then, of course, right after the international break, we had the massive game against our North London rivals, Tottenham Hotspur, away from home. And, of course, I was absolutely delighted with this. It was just fantastic. Of course, Gabriel with a brilliant goal from a corner. And yeah, I was thrilled with this. This was the start of our really tough week of the season where we had 3 really hard away games. So yeah, absolutely thrilled with this. Gabriel got the goal. We kept the clean sheet again. Tottenham did have more of the ball, but that was okay. Remember, we did have a weakened squad. Martin Odegaard was out. Declan Rice was obviously out through suspension, so we had a bit of a weakened squad. So Tottenham did end up having more of the possession, which was to be expected, but we made better use of our possession. Of course, we took advantage of the set pieces. Obviously, we're really good at set pieces. Tottenham are notoriously bad at defending set pieces, so it's something that we took advantage of, and we got the goal through the set piece, which I was really, really happy about. And yeah, I was okay with it, especially because Vicario was actually having a really good game, making some solid saves, so I was very happy that we managed to find a breakthrough and ultimately exploit the weakness with the set pieces. It was a great corner taken from Saka, and then a very nice header from Gabriel, and a brilliant celebration. But yeah, that was amazing. A really hard away game, end of the day. Regardless of how Tottenham are playing, this is always going to be a hard game just because obviously the North London derby, they're going to be super up for it. But I was very happy to go there for us to get the win in their backyard. That was very satisfying, and a clean sheet. Then, of course, later that week, we moved on to Atalanta, and this is one which, I had mixed feelings on. Obviously, Atalanta are a very good team, and obviously going away to Atalanta is not easy whatsoever. It's a very tough game. Atalanta away is a very difficult game. So I wasn't like, so this is why I have mixed emotions, because on one hand, it was nice not to lose and it was nice to get a point and keep a clean sheet. But on the other hand, our attack just wasn't that strong on the evening. Like, it could definitely have been better. Obviously, Raya came through, made loads of saves, saved the penalty as well. So got us the points. But yeah, so that's why I had more mixed emotions on, just because obviously it was, it's nice to get a clean sheet away from home in such a tough place, and to keep our second straight clean sheet in a very tough away game. But by the other token, of course, the attack could definitely have been better on that evening in Italy. But alas, we then move on to the massive game, Manchester City away. So this was, of course, our third tough away game in a row. And oh my goodness, what a crazy game this was. So in this game, I felt like we actually had a really poor start. Like, our first 10 minutes were really bad. We were shaky, we were nervous, we were giving the ball away. And of course, we defended really, really poorly for Haaland's goal. So the first 10 minutes, I was definitely, it wasn't the best. But we very quickly fought our way back in. An absolutely sensational finish from Calafiori. Seriously, what a goal that was. Absolute beauty of a goal from Calafiori on his first Premier League start. It was an absolute beauty into the top right. Nothing Edison can do about it. I was thrilled with that goal. What a goal. I mean, seriously, just an absolute beauty. So that was a great way to get back in it. And then, of course, Gabriel again comes through with a header. And it was actually really nice because earlier in the game, he'd actually missed another, quite an easy header. So I was really thrilled when he had the second opportunity and he took this opportunity this time, scored the header, made it 2-1. And I was thinking, oh my God, we're 2-1 up at the Etihad. This is fantastic. But of course, once again, a red card was given. And again, I really don't think this should have been a red card. Officially, it was because Trossard booted the ball away. In my personal opinion, he was already in the motion of kicking it, and he probably just didn't hear the whistle. In a massive high-stakes game like this, adrenaline's going to be pumping, and sometimes you just don't hear it. So, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been a second yellow because he was already in the motion of kicking the ball, and I honestly don't think he even heard the whistle. It probably just didn't compute. But unfortunately, the referee again decided to give a red card, and oh man, this was so frustrating right before half-time. So, therefore, what we had to do when we came back, firstly, we had to sacrifice Saka to bring in another defender, and we defended. But honestly, I didn't even mind. We did park the bus, we did defend, but honestly, I was completely fine with it because, as I said, when you're down to 10 men against a very explosive attacking team like Manchester City, what other option do you really have? So I didn't mind it, and I was extremely proud of the team. I thought they did really, really well. I was super proud. The defending was fantastic. Raya had an incredible game. Saliba and Gabriel were just completely just shutting everything out. Calafiori, Ben White, etc. They were having solid performances. Timber as well. So I was super, super proud of the team. And yes, it was a complete, it was a definite kick in the gut to concede in the last minute like that and for it to end 2-2. But yeah, it was definitely a kick in the gut, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated, but also I was extremely proud of the lads. I was super, super proud of the team. For us to be down to 10 men for an entire half of football against City in their backyard and not lose the game and be, literally inches away from actually winning it, I was extremely proud of the boys. So as much as it was a kick in the gut to concede that late, and especially because, you know, the extra time had already ran out by the time City scored, you know, we moved on from it, and it was still a pretty big point, just obviously the context of the way it happened, and that made it so devastating. But yeah, I was extremely proud of the team. I thought, you know, they were absolute soldiers. They fought for the badge, and I was super proud to be an Arsenal fan that day. So yeah, as much as it really sucked to for the game to have ended that way, especially after we defended so well, we took the point, we moved on. Obviously, you know, tensions completely flared. I was particularly disappointed in the way Haaland acted, you know, throwing the ball at Gabriel's head, you know, getting aggressive with Miles Lewis-Skelly, Gabriel Jesus disrespecting Arteta. That definitely, you know, it did rub me the wrong way, I'm not going to lie. I was very disappointed to see Haaland acting like that. But yeah, it was a crazy game of football. I'd still say probably the game of the season in the Premier League so far, although some might disagree. But I just think the amount of drama this game had and the amount of passion and stuff. Obviously, Brentford Wolves was an incredible game, 5-3 obviously. And, you know, even Chelsea Nottingham Forest was great. But I just think the amount of drama this game had, the amount of passion, the amount of emotion, I think this for me so far is the game of the season. So yeah, an unbelievable game. And as much as it was devastating to, you know, concede in the last minute, you know, it was a massive performance, and I was super proud of the lads. So then we thankfully moved on to a slightly better run. So first we had Bolton Wanderers at home, and yep, as expected, this was a comfortable win for Arsenal, 5-1. Ethan Nwaneri looked absolutely phenomenal, scoring 2 goals, so I was really happy with him. Sterling got a goal, Havertz, so yeah, it was fantastic to see them all scoring. So yeah, that was a pretty solid evening of football. Rice scored as well, so yeah, a nice evening of football, just a good solid performance as expected. You know, it's obviously we knew that this would be a fairly comfortable game, but you know, just it felt nice for it to actually go that way. 5-1, a really nice performance, and a much needed, slightly easier game after obviously such an insanely difficult run. We then moved on to the Leicester City game, and oh my god, this game as well was just mad. I think I've spoken about this on the channel, but my goodness me, what a crazy game of football. So obviously we start out really comfortable, just completely dominating, you know, one-way traffic, 2-0 up, half-time, you know, happy days. Then all of a sudden, James Justin just comes through with 2 goals, and all of a sudden it's 2-2, and I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? James Justin, a goal off a set piece, and then a really nice volley finish as well. And yeah, all of a sudden it's 2-2, and I'm thinking, oh my god, what's going on? And as the time is ticking away, you know, you're getting nervous. Not to mention Hermansen, their keeper, was absolutely unbelievable. 13 saves in one game. Despite conceding 4 times, he made 13 saves. That just shows you how insane his performance actually was. So, and then obviously when the keeper's just saving absolutely everything, you start to wonder, like, is Leicester actually gonna walk away with a point here? Are they maybe even gonna score and get away with 3 points? Like, this is crazy. But thank goodness, Leandro Trossard came through, scored the 3rd goal, made it more comfortable, and then of course Kai Havertz came through with a goal as well. So yeah, massive relief. It was a very big scare from Leicester City. I mean, seriously, it was very scary from Leicester City, but thankfully we got the 3 points, we regrouped, we got the win, and thank goodness for that. Then, of course, we moved on to the next Champions League game, PSG, and I was extremely happy with this performance. This is probably, like, I would still say this is probably my favourite performance of the season so far. We just looked so good, so composed. Great goals from Saka and Havertz. So yeah, I would say this is probably my favourite performance of the season so far. We just looked so comfortable, you know, so composed. And, you know, PSG, like, this is PSG we're talking about. This is no easy team. You know, PSG in the Champions League are never going to be easy. So yeah, I was super happy with this performance, for us to keep the clean sheet, be so comfortable, so dominant. Yeah, extremely happy. And yeah, I'd say this is probably so far my favourite performance of the season. It's either going to be this one or maybe like Aston Villa / Tottenham, but I just think this one against such a difficult team in the Champions League, I was very happy with it. And then, of course, we finish off with the recent game, the Southampton game. I won't go too much into this one just because I already addressed this in a previous video. But, of course, another game which, you know, the first half was quite disappointing, and then we conceded, which was just, a huge blow for us to concede. But thank goodness we responded immediately. Kai Havertz with an absolute rocket of a strike. Great goal. Super happy with it. Hypes the crowd up. And then from there, we regained our composure. You know, Saka with an insane assist to Gabriel Martinelli, who then slots it home. And then, of course, the game was finished off with a great goal from Saka himself after a mistake. So, yeah, a very scary start to that game, but thank goodness we got the win, we got the W, and that's all that mattered at the end of the day. And yeah, so that brings us to today. So, yeah, that's how we're looking, unbeaten in the season so far. We're actually, I think, 15 games now, 15 games in all competitions unbeaten, which is a huge record. But yeah, that's how we're looking so far. Overall, I'd say I'm pretty pleased. End of the day, we haven't lost any games. Of course, I'm sure you will look at games such as, for example, Atalanta, Brighton, City, and maybe argue that we could have won. But the important thing is that we didn't lose them. We didn't lose those games. We didn't drop any points. We didn't drop all 3 points. So yeah, all in all, I'd say I'm quite happy with the season so far. I'm looking forward to the upcoming games. Of course, it is hugely unfortunate that Martin Odegaard is still going to be out for probably about another month, which does really suck. And of course, now both Saka and Havertz have potential injury concerns. So it's definitely very frustrating and it's not looking great on that front. But hopefully we can stick together. And if they do have to be absent, which of course we all hope they won't have to be, but if they do have to be absent, then hopefully we can cope without them, find solutions. Arteta's built a real bond at the club, and I do think that, the players stick together, and I do think that we can get through this tough time of injuries. Looking ahead to our upcoming fixtures, so we got Bournemouth away first, which I'll be making a video about next week, so I'll be making a podcast predicting that game, so look forward to that. And then we've also got Shakhtar Donetsk at home, and then also Liverpool at home, so we've got a run of home games after that. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and please let me know down below what your thoughts are on Arsenal's season so far. I'm very interested to hear from fellow Arsenal fans how you feel our season has been going. But yeah, thank you so much for the support recently. Thank you for the support on the Dimitri Bivol Arta Beterbiev video. That one has gone up a bit in views because the fight is today, and I will also be making a reaction podcast to that one very soon as well, because the fight's tonight, and obviously I want to share my thoughts on it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to follow the Gooners and Gloves TikTok and also X pages if you haven't already. Make sure to subscribe, like, turn on all notifications for more podcasts. And without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys with another podcast soon. Bye bye.